everybody, it's Harry from Slap Your Daddy BBQ, the YouTube channel that teaches you how to master barbecue so you can spread barbecue love. You see me at Brisket again with my ginormous Devastator Dalstrong 12.5-inch knife. We're going to be shooting an episode today doing beef tallow injection. I revealed the secret of my discovery on the beef tallow in my previous episode. In this episode, we're going to continue the beef tallow series. We're going to inject using 4 different kinds of tallow. We're going to try it with Wagyu tallow, homemade beef tallow. We're also going to try something called Ghee, which I'll explain later, as well as something called pork fat, aka lard. So please join me in this episode where we inject the brisket with 4 kinds of injection oils. Go ahead and season up our briskets. I'm going to use a little bit of a black belt tip here. I have a little bit of a beef broth. This is called Wagyu prep. Used to make beef gravy. This is from Miners. You can get it from my co-packer soupbase.com. This is a black belt tip we professionals use to supercharge our briskets when we cook competition meats. If you run a restaurant, this is also a tip that some restaurateurs are using after they saw my videos. They're putting this on their product, on their briskets before they apply the rub, because it supercharges the flavor. You guys are in the backyard area, competitors have looked at my videos and you tried my techniques here, and they do work. Gives you an absolutely supercharged flavor. I have the juice prep. I also have the beef prep. So depending on what you want, there's a consomme prep. Any kind of good beef stock will work. If you are living in a country that you can't get this, you can kind of make some of your beef paste. You can take some hot water, mix it with some beef bouillon cubes, kind of make it into a paste, and that also will work. But this is also a great smear. A smear is something you apply to wet your meat so that your rub will stick. I'm going to put some of my first place Moolah rub on it right now. This helped me win first place in the KCBS Brisket Cup. Nice, even, thick coat of rub. Now that the liquid is on it, then the rub will stick really well. That will minimize the rub falling off here. And we're going to season these briskets up nicely. And once they get to be about 101.5 degrees, which is the secret temperature, we will then inject it with the beef tallow, the Wagyu tallow, the lard, and then the clarified butter or ghee. So it's going to be a fantastic, fantastic tasting brisket. Looking beautiful. We are at the 2-hour mark. Let's see, we are at the 101.5. Alright, we are at 101, which is the right temperature for our secret injection temp. For best results, based on my previous video, 101.5 is the Caul body temperature. So let's go ahead and inject all these 4 briskets with different types of injection. Alright, let's go ahead and inject the briskets with the proper injection here. So we're going to do the Wagyu. Second one, we're going to use the regular homemade tallow. Third one, we're going to use the ghee, which is clarified butter. That is butter that's boiled down so that it loses its moisture as well as the solids. So this is clarified butter. And lastly, we're going to use some pork fat, bacon fat, or in this case I have pure lard. Alright, let's go ahead and paint some tallow on it on the outside. Alright, 275 degrees. Alright, there are subtle differences between these 4 samples, and before I tell you the conclusion, I want to remind you guys that this is N equals 4. That means that 1 from each sample. So this is not a conclusive test. So please do not send me the hate mail saying that I'm wrong, because this is just my anecdotal results showing you 1 sample cooked in each of the 4 options. For those of you who don't want to wait to the end for the conclusion, I'll just give you the conclusion and talk about why I believe it to be true. Drum roll, please. Wagyu, regular tallow, ghee, lard. Drum roll, the winner is this one. Yes, I know, surprising. I like the pork fat injected one the best. Who would have thunk that I like the pork fat the best? Beans, what do you think? Beans is waiting for his test. But now that I revealed my answer, let me tell you why. There is a certain amount of, I guess, fattiness and flavor that this one tastes better. The weakest one, believe it or not, was surprising, was this one. So much for the Wagyu tallow. This had sort of the least subtle, the most subtle flavor. This one was 3rd place. This is 2nd place. And this is 1st place. So number 1, best tallow injection using a very tiny N equals 4 sample size. Purely anecdotal. Harry's results show that lard produced the best injection for a brisket, followed by the regular homemade beef tallow, followed by the ghee, which is clarified butter, and then last place was the most expensive tallow, cost me $20 on Amazon, was for the Wagyu tallow. And now that I've revealed to you what I found out, let's talk a little bit about why. I think this is understandable, the Wagyu tallow. Wagyu is basically high oleic acid. So for those of you who didn't watch my prior videos where I went into great detail about the delta 9 mutation and oleic acid, just let me summarize by saying that oleic acid has a very smooth mouthfeel, is very subtle, and when combined with Wagyu meat, when you cook the brisket, the Wagyu is absolutely delectable and delicious. So it's good on a Wagyu, but injected into a brisket, not so good because it's the lowest ranked. The ghee, which is clarified butter, was also good. Little bit more flavor than the oleic acid within the Wagyu, but a little bit below that of regular tallow. Now, some of you may have noticed that my regular tallow was brown. So this tallow was rendered in the pit, and it's probably picked up a little bit more smoke and everything previously because I rendered this myself. You buy regular tallow that's kind of white, I would suspect that it's pretty close to the oleic acid, except you pay a lot more. So rendering your own beef tallow is a good idea because as an injection with home rendered beef tallow, you can get a little bit of smokiness into the tallow, and I think it helps overall. But the one that was most surprising to me that I would not have guessed was the pork fat. So you know the old saying that says pork fat rules, so some bacon fat and some regular lard when injected in the brisket, in my very limited test today, yielded the best results. So there you have it. I would not have guessed that lard would win, but today lard reigns supreme. Pork fat rules. So much for me telling you what I like. Let's see what Mr. Barbecue Judge, Mr. Beans likes. So let me give him a sample, see what he thinks about it. So this one is the one that's on this side. So that's the lard, ghee, tallow, Wagyu tallow. All right, let's give it a shot and see what Mr. Beans wants to eat. All right, so we got 4 samples here. All right, Beans, you want to be the judge of tallow injection, which one's the best? So he went for the middle, and he went for the one, and okay, he ate the lard the last. He ate the tallow first. Then he ate the Wagyu, right? And he ate the lard last. All right, so Mr. Beans judged the tallow, my homemade tallow, the best. Then he rated the oleic acid tallow in the Wagyu second. And then he went for the ghee. And then he finished off with the lard. So Mr. Beans and I have completely opposite conclusions. So go figure, right, guys? Whether you want to try this at home, please give it a shot. Don't listen to me and never trust me, because I only have a biased, prejudiced opinion based on my own taste buds, but your mileage will vary. So I would love to see you guys try this and see what you guys come up with, because I think that it's going to be super duper fun to try, and see if you can try it with pork fat or bacon fat and inject it, compare against your regular tallow. So the next test I'm going to redo this puppy here with the lard, and then I'm going to redo with the tallow, because these are the two finalists. The ghee, nah. The one for the Wagyu, tallow, nah. So thanks for stopping by, watching my episode. Hey, want to do a shout out for my Patreons who are sponsoring my channel. That's why I can afford to buy all these briskets, cook all these food for you, and donate to the first responders. And if you guys want extra content like behind the scenes, Zoom classes, one-on-one coaching, phone support, and everything, please go check me out on patreon.com/Harry Soo. Until the next video, we will see ya.